Brand new coming into the marketplace. This is the all-new Series F from Grand Design, and this thing is just phenomenal. Hello and welcome, everybody. Josh the RV Nerd down here at Grand Design today with Bish's RV, getting my first full look at prototype number 1 of the new Lineage Series F. The F, I think, stands for the fact this is on a Ford F600 platform, and almost every aspect of this has been built up and bulked up in some way, shape, or form. Well, I would have been happy if this had a 10,000 pound tow rating. This is sporting 15,000 pounds of tow capacity, but one of the hiccups is that when you are towing potentially that much weight, this RV rides and handles differently. It has basically, you can set the suspension system on this in 3 different ways. So if you're just wanting easy, smooth riding, if you want to do some off-road work, or if you are towing super heavy, you can custom tune the suspension package on this to handle very different situations. So like, whatever you're doing with it, basically, it's set for. You've got an 8,000 BTU diesel generator. We have 1,000 watts of solar on the roof with factory standard Starlink also up there on the roof. It has a 2,000 watt Xantrex inverter, so that if you don't want to fire up the generator, you can still run most of your household kind of stuff off of a 320 watt lithium battery bank. So just the general power solutions on this are absolutely fantastic. It's got cool lighting called beltline lighting, basically all around the outside of it. So not just even outside lighting, but like if you're parked in the middle of nowhere, you can walk all the way around the outside of your rig and actually see what you're doing, but the inside is so plush and clean. It has maybe the quietest running dual air conditioner system I might have ever experienced ever in my career. And considering I've been doing this over 16 years now, that's a pretty wide breadth of knowledge and experience there. This also has a 70 by 80 king bed. It blows me away how many big coaches like this only have a 74 to sometimes only 70-inch long bed that your feet are going to hang off of. Not to mention trying to get replacement mattresses is a nightmare. You don't have that problem here. We're also, this has nearly every option that's available on it. Paint is going to be standard on the Series F, where it's optional on M, because everything on this is just that next level above. There's so much I haven't even told you about. This is going to be a long video, but if you're looking to get into this kind of market, I want to give you all the details I can, because this is phenomenal. Now, I've seen a few other builders kind of make their version of a product like this, but a lot of times when these brands start making these more rugged Super Cs, it looks and it feels like a dude cabin inside, and that's not at all. This feels like a rolling executive suite to me. It has a very heavily European influence, very modern looking decor. Like you might notice there's a lot of real square action. There's a lot of right angles going on. It's very angular. And for some folks that might look a little abrupt, but for me, it's just reading is very modern and sleek. Now, you have a couple choices of seating. We're looking at nearly every option that's available on this today. One of the things that we're looking at is the Ultrafab, the like upgraded, super nice leather touch decor that we have in here. This is not the RV industry pleather stuff that is often used, we have the Power Theater recliner over here with USB chargers, and you might notice how there are seat belts basically in every single seat in the slide. So that's an interesting thing on this coach. It can actually seat belt 6 people, and it basically can seat belt more people than it can sleep. And why I like that is it gives everyone their own little personal comfort space potentially when you're going down the road. Now, they came up with this omnidirectional air intake for their air conditioner system, and maybe they did it just to look neat. One of the other things that it does offer is it has a residential air filtration system that you can take out, clean out, and be breathing better. But it is so quiet. This is one of the quietest operating air conditioner systems I've seen in any RV, not just motorized, but towables as well. The ceiling, by going with that darker color, I was afraid it would kind of look and feel a little closed in and cramped in here. But when you actually start looking at this thing, they have so much lighting. There's lighting under and around everything. Like these, not just in the slide, but the overhead cabinets. By the way, over both seats, They have USB type A and C plugs. You can see the other one over there in the distance over the theater seat. So there's power solutions. There's tons of lighting. You'll notice that like when I start looking around down here at the kitchen and stuff, your actual user functional spaces are very well lit. But walking around the RV, you don't feel like you're in a getting grilled by the police department. Where were you on May 5th? You know, that's not what's happening here. This RV has like a true 3-zone entertainment system. The living room, the bedroom, and outside all have their own individual smart TV systems, which is pretty awesome. One of the things that I've noticed on a lot of Super Cs though is if you're gonna go from the cabin down into the cab area, it's not always easy. Don't get me wrong, this is still slightly acrobatic, but they understood that and they literally steel reinforce this so that you can grab this and like help swing yourself down there. So if you you know you're back in the kitchen, you need to slide up front real quick, you can do that. The other thing that I like about this is like if you've had a fifth wheel and a big giant dually truck or something like that, once you get behind the wheel of this, it looks and feels very familiar. There's a lot of people who have had, you know, they maybe started with a Grand Design Transcend, Stick and Tin, and went to Imagine, Reflection, Momentum, or Solitude, or something like that. And then they wanted to get into motorized, and Grand Design never offered anything until now. So it's very kind of cool what they did. They do an optional extension mirror package on these because this is a wide body rig. They want you to be able to see around this thing. Now it of course has side view turn cameras, and you know things like brake controller integrated, all the stuff you expect on a motorhome. That's all part of it. But then they started doing stuff. Like in the headrests, they actually have built-in little hidden safe storage. It's not massive, but like if you want to keep your smartwatch or something, kind of you feel a little more secure and protected on that sucker while you're out and about doing stuff, you can do that. Now this is actually a Euro door. The cabinetry, like your cabinet doors are all European poplar. So it's not like compressed particle board with a sticker wrap or anything, but this Euro door is kind of cool. First of all, right from inside the RV, you can adjust the privacy shade and it comes bottom up. So if you want to leave it here so that you can peek over the top to see who's knocking on the door, you can. Also, if you want to leave the door open, it does have a full-on bug screen. Actually, hold on. Why talk about it when we can show it? Let me slide that sucker open. Bang, there you go. So if you want max airflow and minimum bugs, you have the opportunity. Now, I want to tell you, there's a Cobra in this RV, and that is the cab over bunk ram air system, Cobra. Essentially, they have their own exclusive custom engineered, I think patent pending, air conditioning system up here, where you see all this custom molded stuff that they created. There's actually AC ducting that runs through that. So even if you have the privacy curtain for this overhead cab bed pulled, there's still air conditioning up there. So someone's not stuck inside that thing hotboxing themselves the other time, the whole time. You can see the curtain over there on the left, by the way. Now, what's great is not only does it have privacy, it also includes the handy little telescopic removable ladder so you don't have to heave-ho throw the kids into the upper bunk. But what's deceptive is because, like, that's a bigger overhead cab bed than a lot of things typically have. But I don't know that you can consciously register that due to the fact that this is a wide body rig. So I thought I'd bring in a helping hand. I went straight to the big guns, everybody. This is Mr. Mike Hums. He is the product director behind the Grand Design Lineage series. Mr. Mike, you're a real adult. Guilty.
Middle-aged, overweight, balding white guy.
Oh, perfect. You and me could be brothers. How tall are you?
5'10".
5'10". Mr. Mike, could you lay down on that, please? Absolutely. Because one of the cool things that Mike did here is he gave us a 54 by 80 inch bed. I think that's called a full XL in residential terms, if I'm not mistaken.
It is.
So if you wanted to, you could actually get sheets that fit this thing, and an adult. So let's say you have an adult special needs child or anything like that, or you have a really big, tall teenager. They can actually fit in here. But What if it's sunshiny out, Mike, and they don't want to feel like an ant under a magnifying glass? Would you believe that Mike thought of that? Now, a power shade over the bed's not exactly anything new, but the fact that all these controls are available right there up in the cab area is awesome. And again, with the built-in ladder, we don't have to necessarily throw the kids into the bed. So thank you, Mr. Mike. Maybe we'll see you again later in the video here.
Sounds good. Thanks.
And I tell you, that guy has put absolutely stupid hours into this product. This has been his labor of love from the very beginning. The ceiling here, I want to talk about this. You've seen a lot of RVs have the soft touch ceiling. It's kind of hard to see that's what this is just on camera. But notice how you have one seam running down the middle. This is from a company called Elkboard. Basically, instead of having 4x8 sheets running sideways, they run everything straight down the middle. So there's fewer seam points, there's fewer opportunities for bad fit and finish, and weird hiccups and stuff like that. Also, the soft touch ceiling liner will make it not only more quiet when you get to your destination, but also on the way. And their AC diffusers up here, instead of being circular like most manufacturers, they went with the long rectangle because it gives you greater control as to where you're going to direct that air. And you might notice how it's an all double ducted system. And this being 50 amp, you've got dual air factory standard here. Now, connectivity in this thing, like if you're going to be an off the road warrior who's still digital working, digital nomads, basically up here, that is a signal access repeater router kind of point that does have the capacity for a 5G service plan. But if in a second here, I'm going to flip the TV out of the way, you literally have a factory standard Starlink, antenna router modem system also built into this. So basically, they've done everything I think they reasonably could from the factory level to maximize your connectivity solutions on this RV. So again, for that working digital nomad, or if you're like, yeah, maybe I own the company, I'm gonna go out my very posh Super C this weekend, but I need to keep in touch with the financials on the laptop. You could still do that here. Now, another thing they've done is up in this cavity, you have not only all your Starlink hardware. First, I love how they mounted it up out of the way so it's not eating your potential storage space. But you see that you have additional hookups, like, if you want, you've got your coax hookup there, but there's also like HDMI plugs. So if you want to plug like, I don't know, a Bluetooth Bluetooth, I'm an idiot, Blu-ray player. That's the phrase that I'm looking for. That's the other blue dabba-dee dabba-doo thing. If you want to plug in a gaming console, if you want to use it like a, I don't know, computer monitor, depending on how you wire everything up, that would be weird. But it's just, my point is it's all wire. Oh, convection. Okay, convection microwave oven. Oh my God. It just occurred to me. They actually put a side splash around this. I'm so used to that just not being done properly. Oh my God. Hey, Mike, thank you. He can hear me in the distance. I'm sorry, I'm shouting. I talk about it all the time until I'm blue in the face. Manufacturers don't seem to understand that grease splatters sideways. Evidently, Mike, who we saw up in the bunk area, gets it. Mike has obviously done some RVing. Mike has cooked bacon. Mike understands that grease splatters laterally. I'm sorry to lose my mind over such a simple thing, but it drives me crazy how many manufacturers just literally won't address such a simple thing. And it's done. It's obvious it can be done. Any manufacturer that tells you, oh no, you can't do that, obviously it can. Anyway, sorry. Under the sink, little spot there. That's where your owner's manuals are currently, but place for a wastebasket down there. Also, every individual water fixture has its own shutoff valves for even for the separate hot and cold shutoff valves if need be. And they're using all SharkBite plumbing fittings. They're not using, basically they're about 4 levels above industry standard and requirement here. And look at this solid surface counter extension, how it lines up basically flush with the rest of the countertop. I like that. That provides some very useful, functional cargo space. But we're not done yet, ladies and gentlemen. One of the things they're very proud of here is that they have easy access, full extension drawers right under all of your bench seating effectively. Now, of course, that can fold down into a sleeper, but even that dining table is solid surface. There's no Formica top. There's no thermal foil. There's none of that. I also really respect how they went with maximized storage above your seating right here, because this is an area that a lot of manufacturers will neglect. Now, they might put bigger windows in, and bigger windows are nice, but more storage is never, ever the wrong answer. And they did a really good job of that. Now, as we're looking at this currently, you can see how it actually has I almost said shower curtain. No, it has a privacy curtain for the bedroom. There has been rumor that at some point that curtain might change into like a roller door, but they are testing it to make sure it doesn't fall apart, essentially. Now, you folks remember Mr. 5'10" Mike. What I love here is that he's actually using one of these pillows to because there's a lot of people, they just always lay flat on a bed, and that's not how you lay on a bed. This is a 70 by 80 king. And Mike already knows this, but if you've never had somebody actually explain the bed sizes in motorhomes like this, one of the things that you don't realize is that even in these sometimes $250,000 Super Cs, that some of these companies make, they have a 70-inch long bed. 70-inch long. That's not even 6.5 feet. That's like 5'4". My feet will hang off the bed like crazy. My wife is a little more gravity friendly than me, and even she would probably be threatening to stick her feet off the end. So this is real American-sized bedding. And how thick is that, Mike?
I think you're 8 inches there and 6 inches here.
Yeah, so it is a folding, what I call a bendy bed. But if you notice, you see this like 3-inch block of memory foam above it. You'll never feel that seam. That's one of the nice things about this. Mr. Mike, you said that there was a cool storage thing going on in here. Show us.
So you've got a cubby here.
Yep, I'll get twisted.
For 110 and USB and USB-C. Got a spot right here for your ashtray and your cigarettes and your teeth or whatever you go to bed with.
Ashtray and cigarettes and teeth? Is that what you said?
Absolutely, Josh. Healthy living.
Oh, well, the good news is I'm not the only twisted soul of the RV industry. Thank you, Mike. I think we better get you off camera before we both get reported to HR. Thank you. I got to tell you, though, that's what I love. I love people that have fun doing what they're doing. It shows. So like he was saying, you've got your bedside power solutions over there. The storage over the bed, I'm glad I opened this up. I forget, with this new Sure Slide system, they are able to build like 40-inch deep slides, so deeper than you normally run into, basically. I don't have anything I can throw in there for reference, but that, you got to see that in person. That's a big space. I really do like the motion lighting in this rear wall closet, though. It just turns on when you open it, when you reach in, the lights kick on the way that you need. And remember how the living room TV had its own separate like HDMI ports and everything built into the cabinetry. You've got the same thing back here. So you can have separate devices all operating at the same time. It's not like one TV to rule them all kind of camping. And we already kind of saw Mike's apparently cigarettes and teeth stand over here. I'm never going to look at a bedside stand the same again. But this is all wood drawer cabinetry. It's also all dovetail construction, and you can see that it's all soft close as well. I gave you, let me back up a little bit. I'm still laughing about the ashtrays and the teeth. Oh man, I got a feeling he's done some gambling in Atlantic City before, but hey, your smart TV's kind of covered up right now. Now over here, you have either monster storage, or you have the option of getting a factory installed stackable washer dryer. You talk to most people who have actually used RV washer dryers, and they will very often tell you, if you're going to get an RV washer dryer, go ahead and just get stackable, and you are not going to regret it. And once again, I love the motion activated lighting. That's also one of the reasons these doors, these cabinet doors are slotted over there so that they can breathe a little bit. Now, we do have a little bit of a peekaboo, I smell you bathroom door again, more of that square stuff going on right here. The bathroom. Mike mentioned that this bathroom is going to get just a kind of slight rework and twerk, basically. If you look on the left side of the screen, you can see how it looks a little bit tight for me. Basically, don't take that footage for gospel. They're going to change that. They're going to change it so that there's more room around that toilet. They're also basically going to double the size of that window. More on that when we step outside. The vanity might shrink a little bit to accommodate. They're going to try to minimize the impact of it on there. But take a look at this. the technically my head, I'm a little over 6 foot tall. Technically my head is in the skylight, but it's so big. I I had no problems with it. What did he say? I think he said this is something like a 36 by 34 shower or something like that. This is a large footprint shower pan with a like a marine style like one of those kind of deals where the water can wash through an anti-slip pad and still go down the drain kind of thing. Just some really nice user feature functions going on in there. But as is the case with any motorhome, one of the major differences with motorized RV versus towable is that these are made from the ground up to be functional while closed. And even despite the fact this has those big deep slides, the wider body of this, when it closes up, it is a very comfortable experience. You don't feel like you're doing the you're not doing a little turn on the catwalk. Hey, you're just walking through this thing pretty normal over here. Though I do like to be real. This is one of the reasons I like to close the slides. If this is helpful for you, hit that subscribe button. But the bed is essentially not technically available. Now, I don't exactly have this squished flat. There is an outside chance you could still one person lay on that and then one person lay in the front overhead cab bed if there is just two of you. But that's what the general front to back road mode looks like on this one. And then from back to front coming out of the bedroom, I want to give you a cautionary tale. They went for maximum airflow Euro windows right here. Like you can actually, in a way, I'm kind of glad they're not super, super clean. Let me see if you see how there's kind of different debris, dirt stuff on the inside versus outside. These are the quietest and most insulating windows you're going to find in the RV industry today. And they open for maximum airflow. But because they made the slide side windows open for airflow, it creates the opportunity to potentially be left open when you close the slide. You need to make sure those things are closed. But you know what? I never really talked about the windows. Let's get into it here real quick. So they are potentially totally wide open to the air. The way these work, you just, push up, push down, and you latch them. Now, if you want to keep the bugs out, that's where this guy comes into play. If you want to keep the nosy neighbors out, that's where this guy comes into play. And they can meet in the middle depending on what you want to do. So that's the story of the window package there. But if you're zipping down the road and you've got let's say you've got a grandkid with you on a trip or something like that, you could literally still be in here and stay entertained in motion. It's pretty awesome. Real quick before I forget, most importantly, yeah, that's the sound I like. Now we want to give you a second extended look at the weights, the measures, the capacities, all the things that we have going on here in this one, because it's a big rig and there's a lot of numbers to potentially have in the mixer on this thing. So the F600 chassis, they probably could have built this on a 550 chassis and had close to 2,000 pounds of cargo capacity, but they wanted more. So they put it on the 600 chassis. And I think it's like, over 3,800 pounds of available cargo? Like, that is absolutely awesome on this thing. Oh, also, if you get a chance to see one of these in person, I don't know that I can really demo it working alone like I do right now, but all the lights on the nose of this thing, when you turn this on, you remember Kit from Knight Rider? Like, like I can still hear that music. It looks like Kit coming to life, which is really cool. So over here, we have our hand-cooked tires, but the suspension and the anti-sway stuff, like I could make an entire 30-minute video just talking about what they did here. I'm going to try to give you the Cliff Notes version. They literally partnered up with two off-road specialists, interestingly from Southern Michigan, literally in my backyard from Coldwater, Michigan. One is you're looking at all the Fox components. They got together with Fox Racing and they said people could use this coach in very different ways. If they're towing, if they're not towing, if they're on the pavement, if they're off-road. So they came up with this adjustable system. There's 3 settings on that you can basically turn, click, and crank, and that will adjust how the suspension reacts and rides and handles to give you inappropriate, like even just control over the RV. Because when you have 10,000 plus pounds you're towing behind it, this RV rides differently. When you're going to go off road, it rides differently. Now, literally, like I said, right from my Coldwater, Michigan hometown, they got together with BDS suspension down here, and they gave it just an absolutely heavy duty suspension package with enhanced anti-sway bars and everything on this, so that not only just when you get hit by a cross breeze or something, but again, if you have a 30-foot enclosed trailer hauling classic cars or something behind this. I know where I'm from in Southern Michigan, it's not uncommon for somebody to want to buy a Super C to get that expanded towing capacity so they could put a horse trailer behind this. Obviously not a gooseneck, a bumper pull, but you could put like a 3 or 4 horse trailer behind this and still have plenty of capacity. Now, one of the other things that's kind of cool is whether you're looking at Series M or F, the paint packages essentially are the same. Now, the difference is on Series F, they don't have a common fiberglass plus sticker graphic decal package. It will always be exclusively full paint like we're looking at here. Now, the thing is, though, everything on this is built a little bit bulkier and heavier. Like, what you can't see, it's easy to see. This is a wide body rig. It's easy to see how they used every inch of it they could to give you the expanded running boards to actually get in and out of this thing more easily. What you can't see is that is all steel construction just covered with fiberglass for pretty effect. This front wall right here, it's all steel constructed, just covered with fiberglass for pretty effect. This has a taller door than Series M because it's a little bit bigger setup. But note, it's literally a like European door. You see how it's got the radius corners at the bottom right above that double power step right there. It actually has 2 clasping points so that instead of just the striker plate being right in the middle of the door by the door handle, there's one above and below, so it just grabs better and seals better, and you don't have to slam it quite so darn hard all the time. Now, if you notice up here, looking at the awning space, it is a big armless Girard awning right there, so that you don't end up accidentally, whacking your head on it or anything like that. And if you look at where the front of the awning ends, right up by the entry door, they wouldn't be able to drop an awning arm right there. So they either had to give you basically no awning or give you a really cool one. So they went with the really cool one. The outdoor 12-volt smart TV, factory standard on here. I'm going to come back through and get all of our these extra baggage door compartments open in just a second. I do like the easy access to the outdoor Rockford Fosgate system because it's like a multi-zonal system. I also really love the fact that they basically had matching, like the fender flares that are on the cab, they matched those on these back tires here, which they didn't have to. You know what? I don't know that I want to make a second swoop around. As long as I'm standing right here, I think I just want to go ahead and open the baggage doors because it just feels right currently. These are all rotocast molded. Which other than this one, like you might notice there's some ventilation type stuff going on here. That's where a lot of your electronic like converter type stuff is located. But outdoors, you actually have, remember how inside we had HDMI plugs and stuff like that, so that if we could plug things into the TV. Bottom right corner of the screen, you have the same thing here for your outdoor TVs. So you could literally have different stuff running on different screens all the time. It's a true separate multi-zonal system. And what's kind of crazy, I don't see this happen a lot in anything, whether it's a common or a Super C, but having a Class A gas style, at least some pass-through, like running over the drivetrain and everything right there, that's just, I don't normally bump into that a whole lot. Now, I do want to mention again, we're looking at prototype number 1. They have rearranged some things. So long story short, what I will tell you is just that this will open up and be more storage when you see it in person. And this is your freshwater tank, but you know how experienced RVers, have you ever had your black tank, fresh tank, gray tank monitors just not work very well? Well, it's because they're usually using the same cheap probe system. They went with a much better system here so that hopefully it actually works better for you. This, I think, is actually really cool. That's just a gas grill quick connect, and it's coming off the side, so that's what I call a propane cooker hooker. But that is actually a remote fill point for your onboard propane system. You don't actually, the propane tank is just a little more enclosed and protected, which I thought was a little different. I don't see that happen a lot. Now let's talk slide systems. This is the new Sure Slide system. So here's the best way I can get there. There's a good, better, best available now. For years, we've heard of a Schwintek system. It's lightweight, it's inexpensive, but not everyone loves the service records on it. Well, then they came out with Slim Rack, which was a little more expensive, but had better service rates. This is the new step above that, effectively. Sure Slide is a step above Slim Rack. So if it's new, I don't yet have service records for it, but everything I've heard preliminary from a couple different builders who are likely to adopt this is really, really positive. So that's another one of those good indicators. If a manufacturer is willing to spend money on a better slide system, yes, the end product is probably more expensive, but I think you're probably going to be a lot happier with the product overall. Look at all of the tail lights on this thing. Those extra marker lights and brake lights, by the way, mounted up there even above the logo. So that, like, let's say you have a bike rack or something back down here blocking the low lights, like everybody can see what they're doing. And again, a lot of times people will go from a conventional Class C to a Super C to get that 10,000 pound tow rating. I would have assumed that's what this has until I started doing the math and checking everything out. And I discovered this has a 50% more tow capacity on this versus almost any other Super C on the market today. That is amazing. That is just absolutely awesome. And then again, with the adjustable ride suspension package, so that when you have crazy, stupid, heavy weight behind this thing, you're not like nose porpoising everywhere and feeling super scary and dangerous, so that you can actually control your load. Look at that skirt lighting. Did you see that? I think one of the fellows who might be floating around saw me recording this and kicked that on. Look how it goes under the trim. Now, that's on the camp side of the RV as well. We're over here on what's technically known as the poop side of the RV. But at night, you can actually see everything. So, like, if you need to get here, you pull into your site at night, and you want to get that power cord reel out, you want to hook up your sewer stuff, you can do all that and see what you're doing without annoying the neighbors. It's really smart. And this is a powered cord reel. I never know how to say power cord reel because it just sounds like it's a power cord reel, but you see the switch on the right side. As long as you got 12 volt, you don't have to physically fight with this heavy freaking 50 amp cable. And all of our sewer stuff, obviously, all nicely enclosed and protected here. Again, we are looking at proto number 1. There's going to be a couple things that change for production. So you see the thin kind of toothpick window there that's actually in the bathroom. The bathroom's getting tweaked a little bit. So that smaller window you're looking at will be exactly the same as the window on the side of the slide over there. Bigger window, more airflow when and if you want it. Now up top, you can see how we are prepped and ready for that telescopic removable ladder. I tell you what, why tell you about what's on the roof when we can just get up there and we can show you? But even up top on this thing, there's a lot going on. First of all, you can see where the tip of my thumb is. This has 1,000 watts of factory solar on her. So you got a pretty decent juice collection capacitor system up there going on. Also, these are, they're a different type of structure. They're not the normal solar panels the RV industry tends to use. Not that there's anything wrong with those. This is just a little bit better grade where, let's say, as long as you're not, doing a ballerina tiptoe dance across this thing, as long as you're just walking normally and you got decent clean shoes without rocks in them, you can walk across those things. Obviously, you see this is 50 amp. We got the double air conditioner standard. You can also see the Starlink system back there, standard behind the second air conditioner. Now, the sport rail system around the sides isn't really necessarily intended for like, let's strap cargo to the roof. I don't know that that's exactly the idea. It's mostly there just because it looks pretty freaking sweet. The other thing, though, is what you won't see if you get up close and personal on this. You won't see that traditional self-leveling die-core sealant stuff the industry tends to use. This is called the Titan seal system or Titan gasket system. One of them words. Titan's in there somewhere. It's something that isn't as overtly directly exposed to the sun, the elements, and it's far better protected from the weather to keep you far better protected from the weather in a more problem-free philosophy, Hakuna Matata kind of situation. And as far as you know, we practiced all the necessary safety protocols anyone should ever need to practice when being elevated above a space like that. As far as you know. Let me get you up here real close. One of the nice things, just even for that rugged factor, we have aluminum laminated slide, aluminum skinned rather, laminated slidewall, super, super rugged stuff. We already kind of saw some of the baggage door compartment stuff on the other side, but as long as we're here, giving you a look around. Now, another thing that's going to change when it goes into production, you're going to have what looks like a third diesel inlet. Basically, you're going to have your fuel in the back. You're going to have your generator tank in the front, which is what we're looking at the upper right corner of the screen right now. Then there's going to be a third one that you can see, and that will be your def fill. Currently on prototype number 1, your diesel exhaust fluid fill is that blue cap in there in the generator housing. That's just going to move so that it's more directly accessible. Now that 8,000 BTU quiet diesel generator, it'll basically run everything. So if you want to park in the middle of grandma's field and have yourself a music festival, brother, you can crank up those Rockford Fosgate speakers and still have your air conditioners going and stay nice and cool on everything. Overall, I am really, oh my God, I forgot to talk about this. Look at the overhead nose cap. Notice how it doesn't stick out way past the windshield. That's something I've never liked about most Class Cs of any variety. When you are actually in the cab of this thing, the way that they design this provides you 100% maximum views. So while you're driving, it makes it easier to see overpass signs. So you can be like, oh crap, we have to get off the exit real fast here. The other thing it lets you do, depending on where you park, like we have some stores in Montana where it looks like a postcard. It is absolutely God's country out there. And being able to just see and experience all that even while you're in the RV, that's something that, guys, like most towable RVs and frankly most motorized RVs just couldn't match what this is doing for you. So if you appreciate the effort to break away from the stores to get you down here, to get you the first look at this thing here, hit that subscribe button, like our video, and as I always do, I will leave you some links in the description for pricing and availability. Now, in the case of Grand Design, typically we're not able to publish the discounted sale price that we have every day at Bish's RV. We can publish MSRP, and we can let you know if one's in stock, but we don't sell for MSRP. We also don't do hidden dealer fees, so kind of keep that in mind. And I know that I don't get in front of a lot of motorhomes, everybody, so I really wanted to make this one count today. If you liked what we're doing for you, hopefully we see you next time. And until then, take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone.